I'm Jeff Wong, EY's Global Chief Innovation Officer, and I'm honored to be kicking off this year's Momentum Conference for 2020. I'm talking to all of you from the middle of Silicon Valley, from our Palo Alto garage office, which of course is still empty except for me. We certainly live in a disrupted time. We have disrupted health, a disrupted global economy, and we are all disrupted in terms of the social justice we want to see around the world. And inside that disruption, we recognize the unevenness of the challenges of the pandemic and also of the recovery. I've seen heartbreaking images of first-line responders who we've lost to the pandemic. And I think we've all seen the scenes of kids sitting outside of fast food restaurants just to get access to the internet so that they can log in for school. We've also seen great moments of global community. In my community, I've seen high schoolers who are helping their elderly neighbors get groceries so that they don't have to get exposed to the virus. I've also watched companies shipping PPE from offices in less affected regions to more affected regions, only to watch that supply chain reverse as a pandemic and virus moved around the world. And it's been heartening to see the stories of how we've pulled together to make the world better for each other. And I have to tell you, what I'm starting to hear, see, and feel is this light at the end of the tunnel. We're hearing good news, even great news about vaccines. We're seeing some settling in the global economy. I know it's still uneven, and there are still fits and starts, so there's still a lot of work to be done. But we're starting to see some of the sparks of the economy coming back. So I think the question we can all ask ourselves today is, what happens now? Well, if you look back through history, after pandemics, we've used words like renaissance and roaring to describe the time periods of recovery. After financial setbacks that we've seen in history, we've used words like expansion, jobs, and growth. It is such an important time for us to be talking about the main themes of our conference here: society, economy, sustainability, trust, and ethics. I know I want to know how we're going to leverage technology, innovate, and work together to build a more inclusive and sustainable world for all of us together. We've been through disruptions before. We know that a time of disruption is difficult, but we know that through disruption, we see possibility, and possibility can soon translate into opportunity. Now, a lot of that possibility starts with customers changing their behaviors, and today we do see customers changing. Our own EY Future Consumer Index findings show us that 42% of people said they're going to change the way they're going to shop. And frankly, I think we've seen a lot of that already. 53% of people said that they believe the pandemic has changed their values. So customers are changing not just how they shop, what they're shopping for, and why they're shopping for it. We see this same theme consistently at the consumer level and at the enterprise level and everywhere around the world. That change to how, what, and why provides all of us an opportunity. The fact is, the world isn't going to look the same. We can't just return back to normal. We have to return to better. And this is really why innovation is so critical to big companies, to small companies, and even to us individually. It is an opportunity to reimagine and reframe how we approach who we are, what our purpose is, and also to how we answer the biggest global challenges in front of us. And so how do we translate possibility into opportunity? More than ever, innovation is a cornerstone and core pillar of the business strategies that will make this happen. I've consistently said that innovation is a capability that allows you to address disruptions that can happen from many different directions. And right now we see a world where disruptions are happening from every direction all at the same time. Innovation is what gives us the flexibility, agility, and resiliency we need to respond to a rapidly changing environment. Innovation is what gives us the focus, intensity, and appetite to target where the customers are headed versus where they have been. Now, I know that I'm lucky in my job. My job at EY is to create new every day. So I get asked a lot, how do you bring innovation into a 300,000 person, 100 plus year old firm right now in the midst of all this disruption? In my time here, I've focused on two things: bringing the right skill set and the right mindset to every corner of our firm in order to drive innovation. First, about skill set. Diversity and inclusion has always been the cornerstone of innovation. And I am convinced that it is the only way any company, government, or industry can deliver the innovation outcomes they need to be a leader today. Let me start with a story. When I joined EY, we had amazing world-class auditors, tax professionals, consultants. If I had any question about anything from regulatory nuances to industry dynamics to concepts of leadership and talent, we have doctorate level teams with the knowledge and expertise right here. And on a personal note, I use this expertise a lot just to learn more about the world. So when I started building my team, I decided we needed a different type of talent that was equal to the level of expertise we already had here. I'm so proud of my team of physicists, astrophysicists, mathematicians, cryptographers, the product managers, designers, and engineers who we brought in from big tech companies and startup unicorns and all the types of companies in between. But the magic wasn't just bringing them into the firm. It was getting them to work together. It was creating an environment and culture where we could bring the 30-year audit partner veteran and put them in the room with the product manager, then watching them go from talking past each other to talking to each other to talking as one voice. And when they started talking as one voice, I knew immediately, they knew, we all knew we were unbeatable. This is the magic. Not just having diversity, but creating an environment where the different voices are heard and appreciated and contributing to a common mission. And I think, and I hope, that many of us have seen in our own lives how powerful this can be. Now I know there are a lot of folks out there who say, we already think about this. But what I have to tell you is that this is an incredibly critical moment to think about diversity around your decision-making tables. Innovation only can happen, only will happen in its best form if you have diverse voices around the table. Today, the business world continues to need to do a better job with gender representation and the right ethnic representation. But you also need to think about your innovation representation. Who on your board, your C-suite, or your investment committee has delivered new concepts anchored on advanced technologies? Who understands a whole variety of business models, including their benefits and pitfalls, that are different from the ones you use today? Who can identify, recruit, and evaluate the new talent that you haven't had before? I've heard too often that D&I is about doing the right thing. And it is about doing the right thing. But it isn't just about doing the right thing. It's about doing the right thing for your business. Now on to mindset. Every company needs the mindset that innovation brings because it brings resiliency, agility, and flexibility, especially in disrupted times. I like to say that every company, big or small, has to bring some of that startup mentality, a bit of that startup swagger to bring to that table every day. And when I go around the world, pretty much every CEO can recite the mantra around how to innovate. Be customer focused, move fast, be willing to fail. I think everybody at this point has read the book on innovation. And every company, big or small, is capable of it. The real challenge is not that they don't know what to do, but I often see a lack of willingness, conviction, or maybe courage to make it happen. To intensively focus on customer problems and not give in to personal preferences of specific individuals. To move at a speed where you only know where you are today and where you want to get to, and you don't have all the steps in between, but you're willing to take that first step. The willingness to make important decisions at a pace where you risk failure. To bring a startup mentality that encourages willingness to try new things and seek the next big ideas with a willingness to fail, particularly in a disrupted time where conventional thinking won't get us through. But as I've been saying, I think everybody understands the playbook, but so few execute it well. Why is that? I'll be honest, I have seen a lot of searching for the secret sauce or finding the magic wand. The success we have seen here has stemmed from a mindset shift at the very top of the firm. And that mindset shift then gave permission to the entire firm to think innovatively. My background is not professional services. I am not a traditional choice. It was the leadership making an innovative, non-traditional decision, one that required a lot of courage as they aspired for different and hopefully better results. Now, I think we know that just because a leader says or does something isn't really enough. And clearly that's not everything we did. There's a lot of hard work that needs to follow. But that is where it starts. So now let me let you in on a not so well kept secret. Leading companies around the world are doubling down on their innovation investments. They are accelerating their digital transformations. What they plan to do over the next 3 to 5 years, they are now doing in the next 6 to 12 months. A third of the companies we talk to are accelerating their investments in advanced technologies like artificial intelligence. And they're doing it in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of an economic downturn. This brings me to a key point about innovation right now, today. I started out by describing the fact that after disruptions comes possibility that turns into opportunity. And historically, we've seen that opportunity on a grand scale. But when you look at it from a company-specific view, there are companies that are going to be carried up by these opportunities and companies that will fall back. For those of you who like car racing analogies, we call it winning in the turn. The companies that take the turn a little faster, hit the gas a little sooner, are able to come out of these environments with momentum and break away from the pack. And it's important for all of us to think about this right now. How are we breaking away from the pack? How are we hitting that gas a little bit sooner? How are we acting quickly against possibilities that are turning into opportunities right in front of us? You know, it's been a long year, and I'll be happy to turn the page to 2021. I'm an optimist, and I'm an optimist about innovation's power to create a better world. And I think we are all coming quickly towards a unique moment of reinvention. An opportunity to do better, an opportunity to be better than we were before. So over the next few days, I hope that we all take the time to ask some key questions. How are we going to use technology for better and more equitable outcomes? How do we positively impact the healthcare system and people who are really the heroes in the front line keeping us safe? How do we educate everybody? How do we help all of society move forward by building a more trusted and ethical fabric in our community? I can't wait to hear the amazing speakers over the next few days talk about their solutions to these questions. And I think we all know we're doing this virtually. But one of the most amazing things about conferences is the ability to have conversations and collaborate. I hope that we take these next few days to find ways to work together, to listen to each other's ideas, to reach out, and to look for opportunities to change the world together. Thank you.